Oh, hi again. So I am sitting here with Alan Hamilton, Executive Director of the Clark County Food Bank. Hi, Alan.
Thank you. Hello, Temple. Thanks for letting me be here. This is a big deal.
Hey, thanks for coming. And I don't believe that I have ever heard of a food bank getting quite the shout out that you've been getting.
We brought several fans, yeah.
I appreciate that.
My wife, my friends. Yeah.
Give it up for food.
No, it works.
It works for me. For the three people here who are not part of your entourage and don't know of the work of the food bank, tell us about what the food bank is. What do you guys do?
Thanks for asking. Thanks for letting us do this. In terms of numbers, it's a bunch. It's 100,000 people in our community that don't have food every year that need it. Sometimes need it once, sometimes need it every week. That translates to about 5 million meals a year that we're a part of distributing through about 40, 50 organizations all throughout the county. There's some pockets that are missed, that's a problem, but that's the numbers part of how that works. People part, it's kids who need food and don't have it. Trying to figure out how to get to school and learn without a meal is kind of a problem.
Absolutely.
It's single moms with no car, a bad job, cranky kids, trying to figure out how to make that work. It's elderly people. It's actually kind of people just like you and me that didn't make it work, and life doesn't always work super well. It's actually, honestly, sometimes people who created their own problems, you know. They didn't show up, they misbehaved, they have a criminal history, and a lot of people want to say, hey, they deserve to whatever, be in poverty, and you know what? They, like you and me, need grace, mercy, people to help them because we've all made mistakes, we all need help. And if we don't do that, who's gonna? And food's pretty easy. We give it away, all of it, 100%. You can't buy it, it's free, you get it, and that's kind of the numbers and the people part. So that's what's going on.
And it's interesting that you have this distribution network. So as the food bank, I was kind of, can I take a food loan?
Can you what? Yeah.
But so as the food bank, you don't necessarily directly give the food to people. You work with this vast network of other organizations.
It's kind of all that. What it is essentially a bunch of relationships with organizations that you all know. So some of them have been around for 125 years, like St. Vincent de Paul or Salvation Army. Some of them are newer. Some of them do hot meals like Share Downtown. Some of them are tiny operations. Some operate out of churches. Some operate out of community centers. Some operate out of trailers. So it's pretty complex. And then there are neighborhoods that don't have any food distribution. So Fruit Valley comes to mind. There's a church out there that's doing a little bit through the school, but they need more. And so what we do is we go to those places with kind of a farmer's market style food delivery that we call Food Bank Fresh until we can grow a partner agency out there that'll be doing that every week, you know, every day if we can. So it's pretty messy, actually. It's kind of, it's not super efficient. It's just we got to get it to where the people are, and they're everywhere, and the needs all over. So, yeah.
I was wondering if that's part of the mission statement. It's kind of,
Yeah, it's a mission statement. It's messy. But you know, the other weird thing about Food Temple is food's really heavy. You know, 6 million pounds. So we own trucks and forklifts, and there's not a lot of nonprofits that do that. So we don't have a lot of friends in the nonprofit space because not very many people own. Well, we have friends. We just don't have friends that own trucks and refrigerators that you can drive into and that sort of thing. And it's also logistically kind of complicated, not just because it's heavy, but you have to move it and you got to refrigerate it and you have to handle it with care and you have to inspect it. So the partners that we work with are kind of amazing organizations, you know, and the people that do that show up every day and haul food at 7 a.m. at a grocery store back to the food bank for distribution or sorted. It's like pretty inspiring. So yeah.
So where does the food come from? How do you get it?
Kind of everywhere. It's grown locally at Heritage Farm and a bunch of other places. Comes from 25 or actually 28 grocery stores now locally that we get food from. It comes from manufacturers. It comes up and down the West Coast through all of our networks and connections through Feeding America and a bunch of other stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So can I tell you I want to tell you what's next, though. What's kind of exciting.
I was going to ask you what's next.
Okay. So what's really exciting for us right now is trying to figure out how do we leverage all those awesome assets, you know, great volunteers, this complicated network, this logistics, the fact that we touch 100,000 people in poverty, you know, all of those kind of funnel through, in one sense, a touch through this food network. How do we leverage that? And so what we're really starting to do is work together with lots of other organizations to sort of dogpile neighborhoods that need help. So I mentioned Fruit Valley. I did a drive with a donor a couple years ago, and we went to a bunch of areas of known poverty and said, what works for you? And he and his wife said, this one does, Fruit Valley. So they say, okay, we want to do something out here. So they're willing to fund it because it needs funding. And then a bunch of people, the church that's there, the school that's there, the foundation that's there, the neighborhood association, the community foundation, all these groups are getting together to say, we're going to make a difference. So we're going to put a pantry, we're going to build one, we're going to lease space, we're going to have food there on a regular basis, we're going to teach the people financial literacy, job training, culinary skills, micro enterprise, And that's going to happen in the next year in that space, and we hope really make a big dent in what's going on in that neighborhood, and then hopefully we replicate that with a bunch of other organizations and other places. So we're pretty thrilled, yeah. Well, that's you guys making it happen, so thanks.
So we only have a little bit of time, but I was wondering, is there something that is like a common misconception, or something that if somebody says, oh yeah, I know at the food bank what they do, that they might not know? What's a little nugget that you can give us?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it's this. There's the idea of I want to help. Food's a kind of a we thing in our community. It's not a they problem, it's a us problem. And you feel it when you see someone on the side of the freeway, or you see it when you see a line at a soup kitchen or whatever. And so everybody kind of goes, I want to be a part of that. But it's hard to know how. And there isn't a best way. If you want to do a food drive, whatever you collect, we'll figure out how to use. If you want to donate money, we had a 6-year-old come this last year and donate the proceeds from his birthday party because that's what he wanted to do. Oh. And it wasn't a big check to cash, but it was an awesome contribution that he made. And so in one sense, we appreciate intelligence, so to speak, with how you connect, but it's less important than you might think. Passion and care and a heart that wants to make a difference, that doesn't run out. If that's rich and flowing, that leads to all the other stuff. Yeah. And so maybe the unknown piece is like just move forward with wherever you feel you're ready and wherever you feel led. So
that's fantastic.
That's it?
Yes. Yeah. And if somebody wants to find out more about the food bank, what's the website? Where can
ClarkCountyFoodBank.org. Just Google that. The whole world comes to you there. And get involved. You can volunteer. You can do all kinds of stuff. But food drives are fun this time of year. It's fun to do a food drive with your second graders class. It's fun to do a food drive with your cul-de-sac. It's fun to do a food drive at work. You don't need to make it the biggest thing in the world like Walk and Knock or one of the giant ones. You can just do it, and then that's a great experience because you've been a part of the solution. So get involved like that is pretty awesome too.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, Alan Hamilton, Clark County Food Bank, thank you
Temple.
so much for being here.
Thanks, hello, Vancouver. Yep.